Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. Today I have some very good news to share with you all because we have not one update, not two updates, but three separate updates to talk about, and two of these are heavily related to Parity. You might think the 1.15 is the bees and bugs update, but it's not just about fixing bugs. As we learned from this week's snapshot, it seems as though Parity is something that is very big and very important, not just to the Java edition, which has the bees and is a thing that's going on right here, but also to the Bedrock edition, which got a beta this past week, which also makes a lot of Parity changes. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about both of those things, as well as the big modding changes. You know, it's not just bugs and bees and also Parity. There's also some modding stuff going on with both versions. Really good for Java, really bad for Bedrock, but I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. So let's go straight into this week's news video. So let's start with Snapshot 19W36A. It's called that because this is the 2019. It is week 36 in 2019, and it's the first snapshot of the 36th week. You can see why I usually explain it the other way around, but you know, the editing budget's really loose these days, so I just threw it on screen and instead of doing the fancy reverse transition. But no, it's the 36th week of 2019. We had a snapshot on the 35th week, but this mostly just fixed a couple of bugs and made a very few minor adjustments to the bee. So yeah, this is the update that you probably care a lot more about, because it's not just, you know, like staring at bees and going, are these things really real? Because every time I look at bees, I don't believe it. I look at these guys and I think, nah, that's not a real feature. It's going to be revealed at Minecon Earth. It was just an April Fool's joke. It really could be a real thing, because that's when we're learning the actual theme of 1.15, by the way. But yeah, let's dive into the actual features of this snapshot, because it's nothing to do with bees for the most part, but it is to do with their honey and to do with a lot of other Parity changes. This is the only one that's not that, because honey bottles previously, as you all do know, used to heal 3 hunger points, or 3 hunger bars, I should say, 3 full ones, and then also give you 9.6 saturation points. So it was a pretty good food for saturation. It was a pretty questionable food on the hunger bar, and yeah, interestingly enough, in this week's snapshot, they have the clarification that, like, hey, we've made it so that it heals less now. However, as you can, or it makes you fulfills less hunger, but if you eat it with 3 hunger strength remaining, you'll get all the way up to full health, which is really interesting because that seems like the opposite. But I guess they've removed some of the saturation. Again, that's not publicly facing data, so all I can say is that they've slightly nerfed honey bottles to make up for the fact that they now also will heal you for poison. That's right, if you're poisoned and you drink honey bottles, they can save you. So it's like a milk bucket crossed with a pretty decent piece of food, maybe a lamb mutton or something like that, a mutton steak, I think they're called. I think it's just called mutton actually, but it's kind of like mutton crossed with a milk bucket, which is actually a pretty good source of food if it's stacked, and it doesn't stack. So I would say right now, honey is going to be something most players never use, but you know, bees are adorable, so that's a thing worth keeping in mind. Next up, regarding this update, we have a lot of Parity changes. So basically, both Bedrock and Java realized that it's kind of weird that both games call themselves Minecraft, but there's a whole bunch of different features. I made a whole video about the differences between Java and Bedrock. In fact, 2 separate videos. They both took you know, hours and hours and hours to make, and the interesting thing is that usually when I spend hours in the video, I like it to be relevant and not outdated very shortly afterwards. I'm kind of happy that these changes have made it across, because finally, if you sleep in a bed, even, you know, like this, as you can see, if you sleep in a bed during the daytime on Java Edition, it will count as your bed. If I die, this is my respawn point. It doesn't show it in the chat, so it's slightly different there, but they finally added that feature from the Bedrock version to the Java version. They've also added, you know, the fact that if you have a dispenser facing sideways, which is how most people have them facing, and you put fireworks in, the fireworks can now go sideways, just like this. Previously, the fireworks had a natural tendency to want to slide upwards, but yeah, now you can fire fireworks sideways, which I think is a pretty positive change if you want to have sideways fireworks shows. In fact, it's purely positive, because you can still face dispensers up, but you know, sometimes you want to face fireworks down, to the left, to the right, you know, and all the other directions, which I'm not mentioning here. So let's also talk about the other redstone feature, because if you have a bell hooked up to some redstone, this will happen. You hear that? You can redstone activate bells. How many people are going to want to do this? Not very many, but the fact that it was different was confusing, so fixing it, it's a small thing to fix, but it's useful in my opinion. So yeah, just to show you that again, let me unredstone. I could probably just use the lever, but let's unredstone, re-redstone. Boom, we can ding it. That's right. You hear this? We get fireworks and we get dings. That's what this update is all about. But no, it's also about a lot of other changes. My favorite one though is one that, again, I used a lot in my 1000 Sponges video. It was funny because someone recently mentioned that video and said like, hey, I thought that video was going to be clickbait, but you really did get 1000 sponges, and it made me feel like a little bit happy on the inside. I don't know who said it. I think it might have been one of my editors, but like, I was like, yeah, go on me, I made a thing. But one of the parts of that video you might have seen is Okay, I got terrified there because of the lag. I was like, oh no, what if wet sponges don't work? But wet sponges will actually turn into dry sponges in the nether. Why is this? Well, I mean, obviously, if you think about it, the nether's crazy hot. It's so hot that you can't place water here. So if you can't place water here, you shouldn't be able to place an item which is mostly water here. So when you place a sponge in the nether, a wet sponge in the nether, it becomes a dry sponge. So if you want to drown out your sponges and also you don't believe in furnaces, this is a good way to go. Although I'd recommend, having done it 1,000 times, that like, it's fun for the first stack or two, but you don't want to dry out 1,000 sponges in the nether. Pro tip. What you might want to do, though, is disable full damage. So, if you don't know, on Bedrock, you have a lot of GUI options to turn on and off when you open up a brand new world. On Java, you don't have the same, so a lot of players might assume that they're not there. But for instance, two of the the commands I have for every single world that I record in is I always make sure I have do weather cycle set to false, so it doesn't rain and ruin my day, because these are videos in creative worlds, right? And I also have do daylight cycle set to false. Because of my survival world where I can't turn those things up, it just ruins videos left and right, and like I have to stop recording, start recording. It's a mess. So if I'm recording a creative video, such as for these snapshots, what I just do is I turn both those things off. But you might not know that those things exist, and you might not know that there's a lot of other game rules which were on Bedrock but not on Java, such as full damage. This was a notable exclusive for quite some time. You could have full damage set to true, which is default, i.e. you get hurt from falls, but also you can have it set to false, which means that even if I stack myself up really high, because it's 4 block minimum to take full damage in Minecraft, if I stack myself up all the way up here, no full damage, because that's just not a thing that exists. So yeah, you can turn off full damage in the game rules now if you want to. Obviously, the same question about do you consider that cheating or not is an individual thing you should answer, because there's no cheat or no cheat system in Java. You can just there is a cheat, but there's no downside to having the cheat system turned off. So you can kind of just do it this way if you want. What you can also do in this particular update is to choose to turn off drowning damage. So game rule drowning damage and then false if you want to not drown. That's right, you can be playing regular Minecraft and you can just disable the concept of drowning damage, which I actually quite like as a fun little thing. Have you ever wanted to try and drown yourself, but also you think drowning is a pain? I mean, let's be honest, we've all drowned in Minecraft once, right? It's not a very pleasant time. Sometimes you want to spend time underwater, and if for whatever reason you just want to turn that off for everyone in your world, then yeah, you can turn off drowning damage. And look at me right now. It's like I have a real enchantment on or something. And yeah, I'm not drowning. Isn't that notable? I think I've almost drowned in real life like 2 or 3 times, by the way. It actually is very not pleasant. Like, not breathing, you can always know, like, okay, any second I choose to breathe, it's fine. But when you're underwater, it's like, man, how deep underwater? Water is not the natural place for humans. I'd like it to be known that I think swimming is an abomination, and now you know that one too. But yeah, let's move into the next little change. Because there's also game rule, do immediate respawn. You can set this one to true or false. It's set to false by default, i.e. it gives you like the loading screen when you die. However, if you set it to true and then you die, you're going to instantly respawn. So if we type kill toy cat because I don't like me, then I'm going to instantly respawn over here at my bed, which I set earlier, full circle. Those are all of the brand new features in this week's Java Snapshot. There's not particularly many, right? Again, bear in mind, there's a lot of Java development going on right now, which isn't revealed to the public because it is inside of the 1.15 update. This is all 1.15. These are mostly just the kind of side features they don't mind announcing. 1.15 has a theme of some form they're going to announce at Minecon. That could just be Parity, but I would guess it's going to be something more cave update, or underground update, or pickaxe, or anything. Come on, Jeb, do it to me. But yeah, it's going to be some form of update we're going to hear at Minecon Live, most likely from Jeb and Lady Agnes, like we did last year. Again, that is happening in just over 3 weeks now, actually. So keep your eyes peeled, which is a phrase I don't really understand because, like, you shouldn't be peeling your eyes. But, for the purpose of saying something that sounds familiar to you, keep your eyes peeled for 3 weeks from now when we learn what's actually going on with these snapshots. But for now, just know this snapshot is mostly about Parity. And then also note that, look over here, there are some new features in the Bedrock beta. So Bedrock beta came out last week, but it was exclusively Parity features, and I'd have to show off features that I already showed off in Java Snapshot videos. It's weird, even though my channel focuses on Bedrock, even though most of you, people who watch these videos, are Bedrock players, most people who want to care about the beta slash, Snapshot stuff usually care about Snapshots because they usually get things first, and therefore, even though a beta came out, it was mostly, it was mostly focused on Parity. So Wither Rose is in there, Suspicious Stew is in there, item frames, floor ceiling, that's the big one to me. I'm gonna do some cool stuff with that when that comes out. Excited for 1.13 now. And then as well as that, there's the light block, there's the abandoned villages, there's brown mushrooms, there's successful village raid celebration, there's game credits, and there's the new note block sounds finally. Yeah, they're there, it's happened, it's a thing. So yeah, that's super exciting. But you might say like, okay, so we've got a lot of different, changes such as, oh yeah, players are also 1.8 blocks tall. They've made the game more, both games have gone from having, let's say, 80 features each that are exclusive to having down to 70. They're working on the backlog of features. But the funny thing is most of the features that Bedrock added were ones that should have been in 1.14 or the Village and Pillage update, but they said like, oh, they're not Village and Pillage features, despite being in the Village and Pillage update for Java. So yeah, it's cool to see them coming to the game. That's something you can expect for 1.13, which we expect at the end of September, a little bit after Minecon Live, because again, something Minecraft PlayStation 4. We don't have any news on that besides there are new screens, but we'll come back to that separately and later. For now, by the way, the only reason there was face cam there is because it was easier not to turn it off, so I hope you enjoyed the 20 seconds of Toycat's face over a changelog. Let's go to some background gameplay so I can talk about a pretty important change, because Minecraft Java 19W36A has de-obfuscated the code in a lot of ways. Or rather, the obfuscation is still there, but they've actually put out some obfuscation maps. So if you want to do modding for Java, it just got a lot easier. Again, I don't mod personally, so to me, I hear like, obfuscation maps, wow, how exciting, am I right? Yeah, modding's going well. But based on the modding friends and people I do follow and, do know, it seems as though this is a mostly positive change. It's not all the way to making the game transparent, because right now, if you just want to start modding, it used to be that you'd have to work out loads of weird things and find something online. Now Microsoft just puts out a public map. They let you know what's going on, which parts of the game are linked to which other parts of the game in weird ways to make, mostly for copyright and protection of their code reasons. But yeah, they've basically decided to make that public. So Java Edition is at least a little bit easier to mod now. It probably won't affect too much, but it's a good sign for mods anyway. And then also we have the reverse situation for Minecraft Bedrock. So Bedrock 1.13.0.9, you know that changelog I was just showing you? Wait. You know the changelog that I'm here on top of again because it's easier not to turn off my webcam. High quality videos. This is why I need an editor back, by the way. But so you know this 1.13 changelog that I'm currently standing on top of right now. That's right, it's behind me. I can touch the changelog. Here's me touching the ceiling. Oh no, that's me breaking the green screen. But while we're here anyway, we need to talk about the fact that this changelog doesn't mention the fact that debugging symbols have been removed. And I've heard so many different things from so many different places, but I feel like the most reliable little source is this one from the Pocket Mine people. There's a Pocket Mine forum, and the admin of the forum, Mr. DK Taps, DK Donkey Taps maybe. But anyway, this guy Donkey Taps has that's not how you say his name. But he's explained a little bit about it as far as Pocket Mine goes, and given that Pocket Mine is the tool which is underneath most Bedrock servers, it sounds like a really big deal. So to turn his TLDR, like this is a shortened version of a big issue, let's shorten his shortened version of a big issue into a really short thing, which is that an essential tool of every bit of server and mod development has relied on for the last 7 years is going to be much harder to work with. It means that instead of taking 2 or 3 days to update Pocket Mine to match a brand new beta version or full version, it's now going to take weeks, or it's going to take months. So to receive timely updates, there's going to be extra resources, or there's going to be delays. There's going to be real problems with the server side of Minecraft Bedrock. And you might think like, oh yeah, well I don't really care about servers. I use Realms, or I play with friends, or I just use the official servers. No, this includes the official servers, the ones which are in the Xbox and Switch versions of the game. I'm assuming it's such a big deal that it's likely to be reversed. But yeah, right now, as of 1.13.0.9 beta, which is a really questionable name for a beta, but as of this beta right here, there is currently a big issue which is making a lot of the Bedrock modders unhappy, and there aren't a huge deal, like, I don't know if you can call the Pocket Mine people modders, but the people who work on a lot of the infrastructure are not happy with the changes, and for very good reasons, because they make it a lot harder for them to do their job. Will that change? I don't know, but yeah, 1.15, the modding update, unless you're on Bedrock, in which case maybe the opposite of that. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to see the different directions, even when both games are trying to move towards the same point. It's like, off to the side, and yeah, now you know the little bit of behind the scenes stuff. In case you're curious, because I said free updates, by the way, 1.12.1 came out today. Everyone knows because it says in your Minecraft version, but they fixed some bugs. They finally got rid of the dragon respawning over and over again thing, so that's a good sign. So to finish up today's news video, this is somewhat important, but also it confirms something that to me is already out there and kind of done. But, you know, just in case you are someone who's skeptical regarding Minecraft, PlayStation 4, and Bedrock, while the gamer who's been the one leaking all of the information and code from within the files, and they are in fact there, we have confirmed on this channel before, one of the things that has been found within those is a option for cross-platform play. Minecraft Bedrock, inside the PlayStation 4 version, has a cross-platform play button, which means that there's going to be a way to enable and disable that, and you might think that that is overall a negative change, like, wait, so there's going to be a way to disable that, and there's going to be some downsides, but it does mean that cross-platform on Bedrock is going to be a thing for PlayStation 4 players. I think actually, for 4J as a whole, there's a really big, like, crisis lined up very soon. Because as it stands right now, not only do, you know, 4J soon not going to be making any more console editions, I'd imagine they're currently not updating PlayStation 4 if Bedrock is coming within a month, but also if we go into the marketplace, which is 4J's like second big income, right, like selling texture packs, skin packs, and mashup packs, on the same day that they released their big map, which they've been working on for, it sounds like months, right, since the last one, they released Caverns of Chaos. On the same day, literally the same day, Minecraft releases their own map, you know, presumably a different team, not 4J, or they wouldn't have synchronized it like this. They released their own map, which they promote way more with the big slot like this. It's officially licensed, it's by Disney, and not only do they promote it way more on the store, so 4J, you know, it's left to the side, they're just a marketplace developer like everyone else now, but not only is that the case, but if you look right here, you can see how the literal menu screen itself is promoting DuckTales, and you know what, can I just say, I want to say this right now, I think, okay, if you want to, like, this is the point about, like, you know, give them an inch, they take a mile. We say that marketplace buttons, they can be kind of okay, I guess, sometimes. They're sometimes cute and fun. They refresh the menu screen every week, and now they're starting to make the marketplace button take up more than its button. Look, there's a duck off to the left, there's a coin off to the right. Soon, you know the jokes we make about, like, marketplace covering up the screen? It's slowly getting there, right? The slippery slope is being fallen down, and whatever, that's a separate rant no one cares about, but it's concerning, I think, if nothing else. And also it's concerning that, yeah, 4J had a map come out on the same day as DuckTales, and they decided to promote themselves of, you know, like, what used to be a first-party thing is now, like, just another marketplace developer. It's weird times we live in. It's sad. I hope that 4J are doing well. I hope they don't care about this and it doesn't faze them, but I'm very curious about the business end of what happened there and why, you know, suddenly 4J went from making one of the best versions of Minecraft to being relegated to, like, second-tier marketplace developer. I'd love to know what happened in between and why and the hows and all the other questions. But I think we're diving a bit too much into a bit of a tangent on a tangent, so let's finish up and say, yeah, 1.15 had another snapshot today. I'll be covering them every single week that they're interesting. I'll be honest, I don't talk about snapshots I don't find particularly interesting. Call me crazy, call me a maverick, call me someone who is definitely, you know, not doing YouTube right, but no, I try to cover the snapshots that are interesting, that have something going on, and these parity changes, to me, are quite interesting because they signify a big change that Minecraft always hints at, but they do like one snapshot of, you know, parity changes every year, it seems, and then usually they do like 10 more snapshots where they do things that are the opposite of parity. So let's see how this one actually goes in the future. Maybe 1.15 is the parity update, or maybe it is an update that doesn't rhyme with parity, but instead rhymes with rave update, or instead with the Reining update, or maybe the Runderground update. I'm definitely not pushing my content right here. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Maybe. Or maybe I'll never see you again. Maybe you unsubscribe and this is the last thing you saw. In which case, it was good to know you. I hope you have a good life. Yeah, have a good day or a good life. You can pick, honestly. What if we were both Minecraft cows and Steve fed us wheat? Ah ha ha. Nah, just kidding. Unless...